Hi guys, this is Angie with Beauties and the Bigfoot, and tonight's topic is Bigfoot and Dogman, friends or enemies. All right, so my story is based on personal experience. This actually happened to me. First off, my view was always what I was told was that they were enemies, or that the Bigfoot kept the dogmen as slaves. And I had no knowledge of this. I had not been around a dogman. I haven't ever seen any presence of a dogman on my property with the Bigfoot, so I had no knowledge as to what this relationship between them was. So it was in the wintertime, and here's Peppers. I heard this ruckus on my roof, and I thought, what? I could hear footsteps up there, and I thought, what in the heck are they doing up there? And I could hear steps. I could hear footsteps on my roof. And I'm like, what is going on up there? So then previously, before this, earlier that day, I had stated that the Bigfoot that shared property with me and the surrounding property have permission to freely go around my property as they wish, as long as they don't cause damage and as long as there is no house banging, because that freaked me out. So I had to put a stop to that because I didn't like it, because it just startled me. So, and I think there was one other rule that I set down, and I can't remember what that was right now, but so I had just earlier that day had said, yes, you guys have free roam on my property. So then I heard this ruckus going on the roof, and you could hear the actual footsteps. And they weren't stomps, they were just steps. It was like they were up there just playing or horsing around. I heard no vocalizations. I didn't hear any growls, anything like that to have me think that they were doing anything other than just up there doing Bigfoot things. So then as soon as, and this went on for a good, I'd say 10 minutes at least, and it was right before I was getting ready to go to bed. So as soon as I turned the lights off, all the noise stopped. So I get into bed and I'm just laying there waiting to hear any other kind of ruckus going on, because at this point, your attention is up, your guard is up, you're listening for something else to happen, because I have never had this happen before. They've never been on my roof. I've heard of them being on people's roof, but I've never heard them on my roof. So I do mind speak to my small group of Bigfoot, and I had asked them, what are you guys doing up there? And the little one, whose name is Olaf, said, it's not us, it's our visitors. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just said, get down off the roof. Get them down off the roof. And when I shut the lights out and I went into bed, everything got silent and it stopped. So I went to sleep and blah, 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 normal night. I wake up the next morning, I get ready to go to work. I look outside. It's about, I'd say, 7 or 8 steps from my back door to my garage. I have a detached garage. And there's quite a bit of space in there. There's like a little patio. So I go out there and I look and I see footprints. There's 2 sets of footprints. there is a Bigfoot footprint, 2 prints, and then in front of that is a Dogman footprint, 2 prints, just 2, no more. 2 Bigfoot, 2 Dogmen. The Dogman was in front of the Bigfoot because the feet were facing this way, and it was Dogman here, and then over here was, or the Bigfoot here, and then over here was the Dogman. So I snapped pictures and I made a video, and that short video is in my short feeds. I'm hoping to be able to put those pictures into this video so that you guys can see it, but in case I don't, or I'm not able to because I'm not really that tech savvy, but I'm gonna try it, you can find those pictures in my shorts feed. And they're very clear, they're very distinct. You can see the claw marks from the Dogman. You can see the hair from the Bigfoot footprints. It's that detailed. So what I'm assuming is that those footprints were where they jumped off the roof and landed, because it looks like where they landed, both sets. And they're pretty deep, and it's in the snow. And then you'll also see my tiny little footprints next to them. Now these, I believe, from the size of the footprints as compared to my shoe, which is 7.5, that these were juveniles. And then come to find out through the mind speak, they were juveniles. And they did not know that they were not allowed on the roof. Well, I didn't ever tell them that they weren't allowed on the roof because I've never had any go up on the roof before. I've read about them going on the roof, but I've never experienced that before because mine, like I said, don't do that. So I never did really find out what they were doing up there. They were just kind of messing around. There was no, it was exactly what I thought. There was no fighting. One did not jump up there to escape the other one. And I actually got an apology from the junior Bigfoot juvenile. He apologized. He didn't know he was not allowed on the roof. Apparently he goes on other roofs. You know, I never did ask. I never got that detailed into it. I just accepted the apology and said, that's all right. Just staff my roof from now on. You know, they don't really need to be up there, especially with the, you know, their size. I can understand if they want to get up there and like to watch traffic or, you know, whatever that is. But that answered a question that I had, and it completely changed my thinking, because the Dogman and the Bigfoot, the juveniles, were friends. They were together. They were not enemies. They were not fighting. They were hanging out, having a good time, exploring a new place that they've never been. These two happened to be visiting my Bigfoot that border on my property. So that was interesting. And then come to find out that one time in my pictures that I've taken out back, I did catch what I thought was a Dogman, but I was like, at that point, I was so scared of the Dogman because I didn't understand him. Just like the Bigfoot, when this whole experience started for me, I was scared of the Bigfoot because I was reading all these, you know, you go down the rabbit hole, and I was reading all these stories about Bigfoot kills, Bigfoot rips person apart, rips sheep's head off, and does all kinds of damage to everything. So for the first 2 months, when I discovered that I had Bigfoot in the area, I was terrified because I did not understand them. The bottom line is they have had hundreds of chances to do me harm and have never done anything. Not one thing. I have not been maimed. I have not been murdered. I have not been molested. I have not had trees thrown at me. they're very nice. They are very nice. And I think that because these encounters happen in the short term, they get a very bad rap. And with all these missing people, I think 3/4 of them are probably something else, and maybe a fourth or an eighth might be a random Bigfoot that was looking for a meal or got pissed off and just got into an altercation with a human. I don't think the percentage is as high as everybody makes it out to be. But getting back to the Bigfoot and the Dogman, come to find out, I had captured a Dogman in the background when I was out taking pictures in the back. And I kept saying, nope, nope, that's not a dog. I am not seeing that. That is not a Dogman. There are no Dogman around here. In fact, I got into a little bit of a skirmish with one of the Bigfoot people because they had told me that a Dogman will run a Bigfoot out of the Bigfoot's territory. And I was like, nope, nope, no, they will not. A Dogman is not going to run a Bigfoot out of the territory. That is not going to happen. Because I was worried about a Dogman running my Bigfoot that put on my property out of here, and then I would have to deal with the Dogman. And at that time, I did not understand the Dogman. Now, granted, I believe some, it's just like the Bigfoot. You got some good ones, you got some bad ones. But come to find out, the Dogman has been here the entire time that the Bigfoot have been here. There has been, I have no idea how many it is. I have not been told. I know that there is one for sure, and he's an older male, and he has friends with the older male Jabi, who is the male Bigfoot in the small little family that I deal with directly. And they are not master-slave. They are not enemies. They've been friends for I don't even know how long, a long, 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 long time. They are friends. He doesn't, Jabi does not order run around. They have, I'm sure, arguments just like any friends do, but they are friends. Now, the one thing that I did notice in the Mind Speak is the difference between the Mind Speak with the Bigfoot and the difference between the Mind Speak with the Dogman, Ren. Now, yes, I did, and I do have Mind Speak with Ren. I do not know how this happens. I think that the Dogmen are I believe they're interdimensional too, but I think they come from one of the other dimensions. I don't think they've been here like the Bigfoot have. I think that relationship evolved over time. And I don't know if all Dogmen and Bigfoot are friends. I can only speak from my experience, and my experience is the ones that are around me are friends. Now, the Bigfoot, when they Mind Speak, I get a pressure in my chest. And I believe they call that infrasound. And that's how I know that they're around. And I also have a phrase that I have them say to me so that I know that I'm not dealing with something other than the Bigfoot and something that is not of the light or not of God. Because Bigfoot are very, very spiritual. They do believe in God. Yes, they absolutely do. That is 100%. And they have gotten to the point where when contact is made through the Mind Speak, the phrase that I ask them to repeat, which involves Jesus Christ, is said automatically. They just say it automatically. And there have been times when something has come through Mind Speak that is acting like it's a Bigfoot, and I ask them to repeat that phrase, and they can't. They absolutely will not, and I get rid of them immediately. They're vanished, never ever to come back. And there have been some Bigfoot that have come through the mind speak that I have banished because they did not mean the best for me. So I just don't even bother with them, and I cut communication off so they can't come through again. So that always happens, and you have to be aware of that when you mind speak with the Bigfoot, because they are interdimensional, and you can have, I call them hitchhikers, coming on from the other dimensions that will try to, you know, come in. They're like tricksters. They try to come in and fool you, and you know, they don't have your best interests at heart. So the Bigfoot in their mind speak, they're very emotional. They can be down to business, but there's a emotional component to their mind speak. Now, with the Dogmen, Ren, the one that I have the mind speak with, what I have found out is that he is more mechanical in his way of being. Think of Spock from Star Trek. That is what the Dogmen remind me of when they mind speak. It's exactly what they remind me of. Now, that's not saying that they don't have emotions, because I have heard Ren laugh. And it just brings a whole new dimension to the Dogman and the Bigfoot scenario, because it is not what I thought it was at all. I thought it was completely different, and they showed me, no, it's not what you think at all. It's this. At least the ones around me, this is the way they are. So it's really, and I've had this discussion with Jabi many times about how much he is teaching me about his people and how to interact with them, what they're like. And I haven't even scratched the surface of my questions. And, you know, it's an ongoing learning process, and I always ask permission from Jabi. Can I post this on the public? This will be going to the public, and I get a yes or a no answer. And a lot of times it's no. That's why I don't share a lot about my personal property, but I will share in the other places that I go to. And the other places that I go to, I always ask permission also. And a couple times I've been told, no, leave, and I left. And I didn't video at all. Other times, you know, those videos that you see with me walking through the nature trails or through another area that I find, they're all for it. Go ahead and videotape, go ahead and put it on the public. Now, getting back to the conversation with Jabi, I have told him I'm learning so much from him, and he is saying that I am teaching him about the humans also. Because if they don't have this kind of close contact with humans, you know, it's hard to understand our behaviors, just like it's hard for us to understand their behaviors. So it's just like the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to learn about the Bigfoot. I mean, they are not just some dumb animal, you know, wandering around the woods. It is not. It's so far from the truth. And who knows the abilities that the Bigfoot have. I'm sure there are things that they can do that we haven't even ever heard of, or anybody's ever captured on film, or anybody's ever talked about, which is actually fascinating. So that's my discussion for today is, it's not always what it seems. Like I said, my situation may be unique. I'm not 100% sure. That's not something that I've asked. Usually when I'm in Mind Speak with the Bigfoot or with Ren, it's for a specific person or a specific reason. So I get sidetracked and I just keep with that reason, and then I forget to ask any of my other questions. But I do write down, and I have wrote down for the past year and a half, everything that happens on this property so that I can keep that documented for myself. And I have hundreds, literally hundreds of photographs. And yes, I do have my small Bigfoot family captured in the background. And Ren, I believe also. And also the interesting thing is my Bigfoot family are black and they look like they have Down syndrome. And Ren, the dog man, is also black. Now, he was the one that I captured the picture of in the background out back. So he's black. But in one of my recent shorts I just uploaded, you can see, and this was a couple streets down from where I live, you can see a dog man that was captured in the background way off in the distance, and I zoomed in and you can see his face. You can check that out in my shorts. And he is brown. So there again is another thing that I have learned. The dogmen come in the different colors also. So far I have seen black and I have seen brown. So that's very interesting. So that was a very shocking and interesting thing to learn, that this group of Bigfoot and dogmen are friends. Now, mind you, I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not, but mine are older. They're older in age. They actually have an older daughter who has a baby of her own, along with this little one that they have, which I think might have been an oops. And he's about, I'd say 4 or 5, but he's actually, I'm 5'4", and he's my height, if not taller. I've seen him several times. And the other interesting thing that I found out about my family that share the property with me is that the female, her name is Nima, and she is about a foot taller than Jabi. So and Jabi he's a pretty good size. He's a really big guy. And Nima is about a foot taller than him. So, and they are both black, and little Olaf is black, and then Ren is black, and then the one that's down the street is a brown one. So that's interesting, and he's down a little bit ways. So I hope that enlightens you guys like it did me, because that was something that I was never thinking in my head. So you have to, another thing that Bigfoot teaches is we have to be open-minded and aware of our surroundings, and be able to accept something might not be what you thought it was in the first place. So, all right, you guys. Well, I will try to put the short video with the footprints embedded into this video in the editing process. They tell me that I can, but I'm just on my smartphone. I don't have a regular camera or anything yet, so I'm hoping that I can do this. If not, you can go back through my shorts feed and you'll see Bigfoot Dogmen Friends and how they're together. And I'll try to put it maybe as a thumbnail if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. But all right, you guys, we will talk to you next week. You guys have a great evening.